Let's talk about this week's dividend news, and we've got 24 increases, 1 special dividend, 5 decreases, a suspended dividend, and 1 company who has announced a share repurchase program. We're going to start right here with Value Line, who has announced a 12% increase in their dividend, forward yield of 2.41%, ex-dividend date of April 28th, with a pay date on May 11th. 5-Star Bancorp is offering a 33.3% increase in their dividend to its shareholders, forward yield of 4.06%, ex-dividend date on May 5th with a pay date on May 15th. Portland General Electric is raising their dividend by 5%, forward yield of 0.71%, ex-dividend date on June 23rd with a pay date on July 17th. 1% increase from Park National, giving them a forward yield of 3.86%. Ex-dividend date is on May 18th with a pay date on June 9th. Dorchester Minerals is raising their dividend by 11.9%, forward yield of 13.47%. They go ex-dividend on April 28th with a pay date on May 11th. Capstar Financial announces a 10% increase in their dividend, forward yield of 3%, ex-dividend date on May 9th with a pay date on May 24th. We've got a 7.7% dividend hike coming from Bar Harbor Bank shares, forward yield of 4.41%, ex-dividend date on May 15th with a pay date on June 16th. Seacoast Banking is raising their dividend by 5.9%, forward yield of 3.19%, ex-dividend date is June 14th with a pay date on June 30th. A small dividend increase from United Bancorp of 1.5%, forward yield at 5.28%, ex-dividend date is June 8th with a pay date on June 20th. Shareholders of Griffin can expect to receive a $2 special dividend. Ex-dividend date is on May 8th with a pay date on May 19th. 3% dividend increase coming from Donegal Group, forward yield of 4.63%. Ex-dividend date is April 28th with a pay date on May 15th. Blackstone is reducing their dividend by 9.9%. Forward yield will be at 3.54%. Ex-dividend date of April 28th with a pay date on May 8th. Via Renewables is suspending their dividend on their common stock temporarily. Costco has announced a whopping 13.3% increase to their dividend. Forward yield is at 0.82%, ex-dividend date of May 4th with a pay date on May 19th. 16.7% increase coming from Discover Financial Services, forward yield of 2.65%, ex-dividend date of May 24th with a pay date on June 8th, and we've got a $2.7 billion share repurchase that was just approved by the board of directors. Kinder Morgan is raising their dividend by 1.8%, forward yield of 6.42%, ex-dividend date of April 28th with a pay date on May 15th. Sunoco Products is raising their dividend by 4.1%, forward yield of 3.32%, ex-dividend date is May 9th with a pay date on June 9th. We've got a 14.3% increase from Winmark, forward yield of 0.96%, ex-dividend date of May 16th with a pay date on June 1st. Income Financial Trust has declared a dividend of 0.0931%, which is actually a 5.7% decrease from their prior dividend. Forward yield of 7.36%, ex-dividend date is April 27th with a pay date on May 10th. 10% increase from NASDAQ Incorporated, forward yield of 1.58%, ex-dividend date is June 15th with a pay date of June 30th. 7.5% dividend hike coming from the Travelers Companies, forward yield of 2.33%, ex-dividend date is June 8th with a pay date on June 30th, and the board of directors just authorized an additional $5 billion of share repurchases. Lithia and Driveway has raised their dividend by 19%, forward yield of 0.88%, ex-dividend date of May 11th with a pay date on May 26th. A 4.8% dividend increase from Ohio Valley, forward yield of 3.64%, ex-dividend date is April 27th with a pay date on May 10th. Now let's talk a little bit about the royalty trusts. And we're going to start here with San Juan Basin Royalty Trust, who's announced a decrease in their dividend by 74.7%. Forward yield still pretty hefty at 12.82%, ex-dividend date of April 27th with a pay date of May 12th. Hugoton Royalty Trust is decreasing their dividend by 89.7%, forward yield of 6.86%, ex-dividend date of April 27th with a pay date of May 12th. Cross Timbers Royalty Trust is raising their dividend by 36.5%, forward yield of 14.35%, ex-dividend date of April 27th with a pay date of May 12th. Permian Basin Royalty Trust is raising their dividend by 13.6%, forward yield of 1.21%, ex-dividend date of April 27th, pay date May 12th. And now we have Permianville Royalty Trust, who's raising their dividend by 54.6%, forward yield of 13.69%, ex-dividend date of April 27th, with a pay date of May 12th. With 60 years of dividends, Johnson & Johnson continues to raise their dividend by 5.3%, forward yield of 2.87%, ex-dividend date of May 22nd, with a pay date on June 6th. The Southern Company is raising their dividend by 2.9%, forward yield of 3.91%, ex-dividend date is May 12th, with a pay date on June 6th. Slate Office REIT is decreasing their dividend by 70%, forward yield of 3.96%, ex-dividend date of April 27th, with a pay date on May 15th. And that's your dividend news for the week. Now go and take a peek at this video next.